Hi there, welcome to my channel. It's Krista here doing the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you don't know what your Moon and Rising sign is, there's a link in the description box to alwaysastrology.com. Just plug in your information there. It'll give you a snapshot of your birth chart. And there you'll be able to find out what your rising and moon signs are. If for any reason this doesn't resonate with you, Cancer, check out your moon and rising readings. Hopefully they'll resonate a little stronger this week. That being said, I do hope that this Cancerian reading resonates with all my Cancer, Sun, and Moon and Risings. So this is for the week of May 18th to the 14th. I'm going to be doing the same spread I did last week, just with a different deck. So 3-card spread, central issue, 2 qualifiers, and the bottom of the deck for general energy for the week. And then we'll be drawing additional guidance cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck and the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck. The general spread will be with the Medicine Card Tarot deck. And to learn about me, my book, and why I do this, you can check that information out in the description box as well as information about the cards that I'm using. So I wish for Cancer all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I ask that Mother Gaia please bless this reading for Cancer. All right, so in the central position, Cancer, we have the card Fear. It's the rabbit card, but its keyword is fear. To the right of the rabbit card, we have the opossum. I can't recall what the keyword for opossum is. Let me just look that up briefly. 23. That is the card of diversion. So far we have fear and diversion this week, Cancer. And let's get a third card here, see what this energy is talking about this week. And then we'll look at the bottom of the deck for general energy. Let's see where this reading is headed for you. Fear, by the way, is usually self-generated, unless you're dangling physically over a cliff, or you have health or relationship or business or finance actual issues that could be causing relative fear regarding the material world, your safety, financial, physical, or relational safety. Barring those issues, you're looking at a situation where you could be adding fuel to a fire that you could be putting out yourself. You are generating this type of fearful energy around yourself, and it looks like it's because you don't want to face something, or you're too busy creating a divergent atmosphere where you're unwilling to look at something. You want to get away from looking at something. Perhaps you simply want to get away from this fearful feeling, and you're creating personal diversion for yourself. All right. And then to the left of the rabbit, we have the swan. And the swan's keyword is grace. And then at the bottom of the deck, Cancer, we have the card whale. You can see that whale is deep under the ocean. This is a great area that most human beings don't know anything about. So there's something under the surface this week, Cancer, that perhaps you don't want to look at, or you know that if you look at, it's going to bring something to the surface, and you might be creating a diversion for yourself in order to keep from having to face that. Now, is this the end of the world? Probably not. As I said at the beginning, this is the fearfulness that's being created or being felt is self-induced. Again, unless you're in physical danger, which, to which I'd say, please get help. But it looks like this is more of an emotional issue or even an intellectual issue or a relational issue. So something having to do with friendships. And I say this because you'll see the prominent North Star here on the whale card. And this card is related to the traditional tarot, to the card, the star. And the star is known as the wish card, but it's also the card of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of friendships. So if this is a situation that involves friendships, camaraderies, alliances, group behavior, memberships, this type of thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a total alignment. It doesn't have to be strictly, your friends, for example. It can be alignments, it can be groups. But there is a sense of fear here around this situation. Now, the whale's keyword is record keeper. So this could also be a sense of someone has been keeping tabs. You know what facing this or what this relationship or this discussion, etc., will bring you because you've probably been here before with this person or with this group. And there is a great deal of resistance here. Both the rabbit and the opossum, so both fear and diversion, are at play here under record keeping for the week. So I feel like you might have been here before already, Cancer, with this concern. And now we've got grace to the left. Grace means in this reading that you could come out the other side of it completely unscathed, because you're going to address it differently and you're going to react differently this time. So let's take a closer look at the cards. I'm going to start here in the center with rabbit. Like I said, we've got little rabbit here. They're so precious, but they are so vulnerable. So that could just be an issue for you this week, Cancer, where you're feeling vulnerable, that you're being put into a position you don't want to be put into, that you feel like diversion is the only way out of this uncomfortable situation. Whatever is happening this week is bringing up old feelings of fear, not being good enough, being scared. If you've been remembering your dreams recently, Cancer, you can apply symbologies from your dreams to this reading this week as well. I'm going to suggest that this is something that you've already been through. The reason I say that is because next to fear, with diversion next to fear, it tells me that this is something that you already know about. If If you've been here before, you already know how to diverge from it. If this is new, you're creating new diversion techniques around it. This isn't about hurting anyone or getting one up on anybody. It could just simply be about not being willing to answer questions or not being willing to have uncomfortable discussion or get to the root of anything this week. But because there's grace next to it, it means that either you're going to be lifted out of it. So these are quite lovely, actually, to the side of both diversion and fear. So very vulnerable, unwilling energies here. You have record keeper and you've got grace. So you could be able to draw on your own personal energy or your own tactics in getting out of something that is uncomfortable this week, frankly. And with grace, it could very well be that you, my dear Cancer, are the only one who's cognizant of this vulnerability, okay? Which is lovely. Not people's vulnerabilities don't need to be known by everybody. We don't need to lay ourselves bare for everyone. You need to be able to trust someone with your secrets or with your vulnerabilities like fear, and not create diversions to get away from it. Perhaps this week, Cancer, it could just be an opportunity for you, particularly if you feel like you've been here before, right, with the record keeping, with I have memories of this, or I've been taking stock of this, or I knew this was coming up. This could be an opportunity this time around to say, well, I didn't handle it too well last time, or I didn't like the way I handled it, or I didn't go about it in exactly the right way, etc. This could be an opportunity this week to say, I'm going to handle it differently this week, or there's a specific grace here that is going to allow you a different perspective. And perhaps it could completely wipe out this sense of vulnerability for you, this sense of grace. Okay, grace is a very, very powerful thing. It means living in the moment, accepting things as they are, not being forceful or aggressive, going with the flow, letting things be. So this could be a real message for you if you are experiencing any feelings of vulnerability or fear this week, Cancer. If for any reason you feel that someone around you is fearful or diverting from a topic that you'd like to bring up, that you've tried to talk about before, in other words, if all of this is reversed and it's not you that's fearful, but the people around you who are, they're creating diversion, there's sort of a veneer of grace, like everything's okay, we're going with the flow, but you still feel that something's off, keep a record of this as well, okay? So again, if this is happening around you and this isn't something that's part of your personhood or your reality this week, this could be an energy that's really strong around you. Remember who it's with, how it's happening, what it's about, okay? Actually keep a record. Because if that's the case, whether or not this is energy around you and you need to take care of yourself within this energy, or this is you're addressing it under a certain state of grace, the point of the record keeping is still really important here, because you're going to be able to draw from this in the future, either for a greater sense of a greater ability to handle difficult situations, or you may say in the future, if this is to appear again for you, you can say, well, I don't want to deal with this anymore, okay? And you'll have a deep, like a very detailed record of why you feel this way, what you're doing about it, and how ultimately is best to deal with this situation, which will be grace this week, okay? So if you are undergoing any stress this week, Cancer, or there is any fear in your life, perhaps it's wise this week to find someone who is close to you, someone who is a star to you, so to speak, that you can trust or who does bring grace into your personal energy field, and ask them if you can talk to them about this difficult situation. It will help if you do end up talking about this with someone to give them context. It sounds like whatever's going on here, if, for example, you were to blurt something out to someone right now about the situation, it sounds like without context, it would be difficult to give advice about it. So make sure that there's context here, whether or not you tell someone about it, even if you're dealing with this on your own, to look at the big picture, okay? But something is deep here, something in the memory bank, in the emotional field, that is raising issues of fear here. And again, this is for the week of the 8th to the 14th, and this could just be one day, or this could just be one conversation, right? It doesn't have to be overwhelming or anything like that. But on the other hand, it is good to look at, you know, if you are feeling fearful or vulnerable right now, it is a good week, Cancer, to address those feelings, okay? So out of this deck as an additional message, we have To the Sea. Now this is literally going with the flow, okay? I'm going to look up keywords to this card. This is a fairly new deck to me, so I'd like to get the language by the authors here. So its essential meaning is being in flow, returning to source, recognizing how pieces fit together, a natural pattern of events. So this is definitely something that you are revisiting. You're going through something again. You need to revisit this. Again, we have this deep, deep sea, 2 issues of sea, lots of emotion this week. This person is isolated. If you feel isolated, this could be adding to your fear. Perhaps you just feel like you don't have the same things in common with individuals that you used to have a great, perhaps a history, right? When we speak of record keeping, for example, we can call this plainly a history, right? So perhaps there is a history here that you need to recollect in order to handle this a little differently. You could be attacked this week, you know, verbally or emotionally. And any other week or any other time in your life, you would be perfectly okay with fighting back or standing up for yourself. It could be the person who's doing it. It's coming from an unusual source. There could be issues of trust here. Who do you trust? Right? Because why would you be creating diversion? Why would there be an element of diversion here if you weren't trying to get away from exposing yourself to someone? So, To the Sea. I just want to see this again. Perhaps you're just simply trying to figure something out for yourself, and it's leading you to these places where it's a struggle to think about these things. But like anything else, and like this card indicates, this is about cycles. This is about going over and over and over. So it does feel like you've been here before with this issue. Generally speaking, I don't think it's a large problem for you this week, Cancer. I think what all this is going to do this week for you is you're going to meet up with something or someone that you've dealt with a very similar issue in the past, except this time you're going to say, I'm going to deal with this differently this time. I think really that's the bulk of what's going on this week. And truly, this is a card of personal power. If you have personal grace, you have a great element of self-control. So perhaps this is a good exercise for you, Cancer, this week, because perhaps you didn't know how strong you've gotten over the last few months or last few years with regard to this membership or friendship or alliance or situation. I think you've grown and you've gotten stronger and you've become tougher, and perhaps this is an extra page to put in your record keeping, which is, oh, I don't have to rely on such and such, or I don't have to create diversion to get out of discussing something uncomfortable or what have you. My heavens, these are all over the place. So we're just looking for one more clarifier card here for you, Cancer. And there we are. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay, let's keep shuffling. I'm just getting so many flipping at a time. I'd really prefer to have one jump out of the deck to complete the reading for Cancer. All right. Well, no great surprise, right, Cancer? We have the card Retreat. This is really your project this week. When I mentioned turning to someone that you trust, someone who does bring grace into your life, you might even be burdening them this week. I think this is a week for you to spend in a solitary manner. Not as a punishment, not to get back at anybody or not to punish yourself, but because this is what you truly need to get out of this situation. This is your week to learn how to rely completely on yourself. It's going to feel a little bit weird because I think you've had the opportunity to rely on this membership or group situation in the past. And this is your week to generate and explore your own grace. This week, if you are into spiritual matters, Cancer, this would be a good week to get in touch with your guardian angel or with an archangel or Mother Mary, or to pray to God this week for extra guidance. Do something gentle and kind for yourself this week. And remember that you're a deep person. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong. There are just some things that you need to get to the bottom of for yourself. Okay, Cancer? So I really hope you enjoyed the reading. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below. And in the meantime, take good care of yourself, Cancer. I look forward to seeing you for your next weekly reading. Bye for now.